Welcome everyone to Haven of Horror. As always, I am a subject. I've got Freddy Krueger himself, Robert Wilde. I bet you didn't know you were
Bitch.
Freddy Krueger. No, that's Scary Ted Terry. Um,
Aw.
but we are doing another ranking video. Robert, is this the first franchise we've ranked together?
I believe so.
Okay. If you couldn't tell from the thumbnail, the video description, Robert's background, the video background, we're doing A Nightmare on Elm Street. This is what I had to grab before we started. Great set. I did watch through all these. All the transfers look good. Um, I'm glad. Real quick, this is tangentially related. I don't know if you know this, but this comes with the unrated cut of 5, which I didn't think would
Interesting.
matter. It kind of does, not to the film, but to one of the kills. So, Robert, if you don't know, there's only a minute difference between the two cuts. Do you know what they restored?
I don't remember, and now I don't even remember which cut of the movie I watched. If the
You've
Blu-ray has the
probably. I don't think the
unrated or the
Blu-ray
theatrical.
does. Can you check? It's right behind you. I'm curious now.
Yeah. Um. Let's see. It doesn't. Probably not. Well, because all these movies listed are rated R.
Okay.
Are listed as being rated R. So I wouldn't think. Because usually they have a separate like unrated
Yeah,
tab for extra
because
cuts, and I'm
this
not seeing that on here.
this isn't probably is not going to show up, but if you see on 5, it says rated R, and the next to it is not rated. But anyway,
Okay.
it doesn't improve the movie, but it does improve a kill. The scene that is restored is during the food stuffing scene, and it
Yeah.
restores a shot that shows that he is pulling the food out of her guts and feeding it to her.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that is not the version I watched.
It
That's
makes that
disgusting.
kill so much more disgusting. Unfortunately, that movie is Nightmare on Elm Street 5.
We'll get to
Yeah.
it.
So, Robert, I thought we'd kind of borrow from Red Letter Media and Geekvolution and how we do this. I'll say mine, and then you'll say yours, and then we'll talk about it a little bit on your pick. Um, I've seen these a god awful amount of times. Let me pull up my list. In fact, actually, since I'm not prepared, so I figured we would go best or worst to best.
Yeah,
And did you want to include Freddy versus Jason?
I did. So I also included the remake. So I
I
have,
figured the remake was a given.
yeah. So I have 9 films total. Yeah, for those who don't know, there's, I guess you'd say the original run of 6, and then Wes Craven's New Nightmare, which is a separate thing, but those 7 are always collected together, like in
I always
the
just say the
Blu-ray and the
first 7 because
4K.
that's how it's always collected. And
Right. And then the crossover film Freddy vs. Jason, and then the 2010 obligatory remake. So I figured we'd do all 9.
that works for me. So I'll just say my in last place, if you can believe it, is A Nightmare on Elm Street, 1980, no, 2010. um, I think this is regularly listed as one of just the worst remakes of all time. Uh, it is a remake that fundamentally I think misunderstands what makes that original so cool, while also doing things that I'm like, if you just stuck to this, it'd be cool. It may not be great, but it wouldn't be unwatchable. Like I think the remake is. It can't pick a lane. It wants dark and growly Freddy, but he's making jokes, and it is a baffling mess from a studio that just a year ago put out what I think is one of the best remakes in Friday the 13th of 2009. I saw this in theaters. I was excited. I thought the trailer looked good. God, I was naive.
Yeah, I know, and yeah, if it wasn't clear, this is also at the bottom of my list
That's why I just
at
went ahead
number
and
9.
launched into it because I figured.
Yeah, this is what we're on the same page on. I like some positives out of the way. I think Jackie Earle Haley is good casting and doing the best with what he's given. The whole micro sleep idea is really cool. There's like one neat sequence where characters fading in and out of reality in the dream world, and Freddy's popping in and out, and that's kind of cool. But every sequence they repeat from the original is done worse. As we say all the time, CGI isn't inherently bad. CGI can be used well. This is not a movie that uses CGI well.
Mm-mm.
It's used very unnecessarily, and it presents a potentially cool idea for a different take in Freddy actually being innocent and the mob killing him and creating the monster they thought he was.
And then they go,
That is
just kidding.
just kidding. Yeah, so you had a potentially cool idea to separate it from the original to do something wildly different, and they don't stick to it. And then what's her name? Katie Cassidy is kind of
I
wasted here.
see. I have the opposite. I think she's good, and then Rooney Mara is atrocious.
Yes,
I almost wish the roles had been reversed, and Katie Cassidy was the final girl.
I agree. I think that would improve it. Although, and you also get what's his name, Kyle Gallner here, and he's good. He's somebody who's really kind of taken off in the last few years, at least like in our circles.
Yeah,
And I think he's fine in this movie.
he's fine. That remake is weird too. That it kind of it wants to be a remake, but none of the characters are the same. Like I don't think Katie Cassidy's character's named Tina. They changed.
They changed a lot of the names.
They changed Nancy's last name. They changed personalities. Because Quentin is supposed to be the Johnny Depp character, but he's nothing like the Johnny Depp character. And he lives. It's weird. I had something else I was going to say about this, too. I don't remember. The best thing about this movie is just the posters. I thought the posters were cool.
The posters are great. Also, part of why the posters are great is they don't show you a lot of what Freddy's face looks like.
Oh, yes. Gotcha. I have to give this movie for kudos for one thing. I didn't think it was possible to make the ending of the original movie look good effects-wise. This movie manages that, so kudos for that.
Yep.
And
what's weird...
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, well, for those who don't know, I'm not like the biggest Freddy fan. I'm probably not as big a fan of this franchise as you are. I like most of these movies fine. I'm more of a Jason guy, as you can tell by my shirt. But with Jason, I find the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise a little more frustrating, as we'll get into with some of these other ones. Because with Jason, for most of those movies, it's like going to a fast food restaurant and just getting exactly what you're expecting and leaving satisfied for how little you paid for it. With Nightmare on Elm Street, it's like a really good high-end restaurant that half the time fucks up your order. And you're like, oh, well, I expect something really good, and sometimes they deliver. But I don't know. I find the inconsistency in this franchise, for me, more frustrating, because I think there's more potential here.
I have
but there are some I really
later
like.
sequels. I'd say this is my third favorite slasher franchise. Because at this point, it's Friday, then Child's Play, then this. And this coasts on like 3 movies out of 9.
Yeah, and between the two, I think Child's Play is a lot more consistent.
Yes. Child's Play only has one bad
quality.
movie, I think, which is part 3.
And yeah, and I don't even hate part 3. Like, I think it's watchable. Like, I don't think it's
It does have
horrible.
one of the greatest Chucky one-liners of all time. I don't know if I can say it on camera.
That is true. I know what you're talking about. And so with the original Nightmare on Elm Street, like, I love that movie. I think it's great. I don't think it's a perfect movie, as no movie is perfect, but I think there are very clear flaws in that original that could theoretically be improved upon. And the 2010 remake did not do that.
No, and what's frustrating
which
too
makes
with that
it all the more disappointing
is they double down on the stupidity. What is happening there?
Yeah. It doesn't fix the very obvious problems of the original and creates a whole slew of new ones.
No, because they thought they were going to get a sequel. That's adorable.
Yeah. And that movie just comes out so late in like the Platinum Dunes remake era. Of course, the following year would be the Fright Night remake, which we recently did a commentary on, and that's a much better remake than this is.
Well, and this
Uh,
also has the award of killing the entire line of Platinum Dune remakes. This was the last one.
yeah, which is funny because, like, I mean, this movie didn't lose money; it did fine at the box office, but it was just so hated
No,
across
what
the
they
board.
should have just
This
went
was
and
like a
did like
definite.
another Texas or a Friday. I
They
also
should have done another
maintain I
Friday.
think if Marcus Nispel had directed this, the guy who did Texas and Friday, this would have at least been watchable.
I think so too.
He was kind of their secret sauce. Their two best remakes are him.
I agree. And we have done a commentary on this film, so if you want to hear more of our
Yeah.
thoughts on it, it's on the channel. Yeah, I don't know if there's
Um,
anything else to say about
yeah.
this movie.
Robert, I think you know where I'm gonna go with this, but my number 8 is Freddy's Dead, the Final Nightmare.
That actually surprises me because you're the biggest defender of this movie. I
I had a
know.
really rough
Uh,
viewing last time. So I don't know if
Damn.
I told you, but Bag and I watched 4, 5, and 6 back to back. Okay, this is where ranking kind of becomes subjective. I think I still think the first 20 to 30 minutes of this are better than 5, but the minute that they go back in just terms of I can turn my brain off and have fun that Robert Englund is having fun. Uh we're okay. We're already off the rails. We said we were going to talk about these when we got them to your list, but I'll mention just briefly what I like about it. This movie is so stupid that it turns around that I can enjoy that. But then the minute
Mhm.
they leave Springwood, that movie jumps off a cliff. It becomes the most boring thing of all time. But we'll talk more about it when we get to yours. What is your number 8?
My number 8 is Freddy's Dead, the Final
I'm
Nightmare.
shocked.
So we're still on par. Yeah. And this is one to what you're saying, like, and what I'll say about every Nightmare movie, even the remake, is there are good scenes. This one more than the remake, which is why it's higher than the remake on my list. But like the deaf kid, the hearing aid sequence, that's good stuff.
When he starts scratching at the board, it's so good.
Yeah, as we'll get into more, like this isn't what I want Freddy to be. I prefer a creepier, scarier Freddy. But for what Robert Englund's doing, he's having a lot of fun. He's still entertaining to watch. This is the most adorable Freddy, which isn't necessarily what you want in Nightmare on Elm Street, but god damn it, it is charming in places.
No, this is a baffling movie because they went into the saying, this is the last one. These movies aren't making money anymore. Who on earth thought this was a good send off to Freddy Krueger? And
To the point that in the final credits you get like a sad montage, like Rocky Five style of like, oh, look at all the good
yeah,
times we had
well, and to the
in the
point, I
previous
don't know if
movies.
you know this, but for the press tour for this, they threw a funeral for Freddy Krueger, and and this movie I think is kind of symbolic of the back half of this. The New Line executives gave such little shit about this franchise that this slipped through the cracks. I don't believe for a second that anybody higher up watched this and went, yes, this is how we're going to send off the character that made our company.
Which is weird because a lot of the people involved, like were with the franchise for a while.
Well,
Like the
the director of this started as like a production assistant on the first movie, I think.
Mhm. Yeah, and was a producer on the fourth one. So
I just
I have you ever looked into, because I think there's a draft of it out there that Peter Jackson was going to make this movie at one point,
yes. So
and then
Peter,
they ended up using none of his ideas.
well, and it's funny because Peter Jackson's ideas are interesting, and some of that is kind of in Freddy versus Jason. Austin told me about this, but it's been a while. So basically, the idea was that people weren't scared of Freddy anymore, so he's like old, powerless, and kids would kick the crap out of him and like mock him. Um, I don't know if I don't. Austin seems convinced that would have been better. I'm not based on that premise, but I think it would have at least been better made than what we
Well,
got.
there are similar ideas from this that slip into Freddy versus Jason. They're just handled different. Like here, when we go back to Elm Street, it's like all the kids are dead and the adults have gone insane. And then in Freddy versus Jason, there's like a town cover up
Yeah.
element that's going on. So, like that, they're both addressing like the
Well, and
fallout of Elm Street, and they're just approaching it in different
this
ways.
movie has the greatest status quo of all time. He's killed every teenager in the entire town, all of them.
Yep,
And we get a great Alice Cooper cameo.
that's fun. I like the Johnny Depp cameo.
Yeah,
The This is your brain on drugs
and I know people
TV
say
bit.
it's too far, but I do think Rob England going, "I beat my high score" is really funny.
He again, it's not what I want from Freddy, but he's at
No.
least entertaining to
And
watch.
there is some cool like
And
creative stuff, like when he's unfolding the map and it just won't stop unfolding, and then it says, "You're fucked,"
you're
and then he wakes up,
fucked.
he's like,
That's
"Yeah,
a good
the
bit.
map says we're fucked."
And of course, the opening quote of this movie, "Welcome to Prime Time, bitch."
Yeah.
Freddy Krueger.
So I have
That's great.
I have
Like
a question for you.
there are bits of this movie I like. Go on,
The
go for it.
stoner that dies in the video game death. Do you know who that is?
I'm blanking on his name. I've seen him in the Garfield movie
Yes, that is
from
Brecklin Meyer, who is
2000.
John in the Garfield movies, and co-creator, I think, of Robot Chicken.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah, everybody's
Um,
got to start somewhere. Also, Yaphet Kotto's in this movie
yeah,
from Alien.
he's the best character.
He's great.
Uh, I want to give it kudos to this too. I think this is the movie most where I like some of the Freddy backstory. I don't mind the idea of him having a kid. I don't know if the timeline matches up because I don't know how long this is supposed to have been since the first movie.
Right. Oh yeah. I think the timeline's fucked. I don't love the backstory stuff. I don't know, him being like suburban dad who's secretly do it like that is obviously a serial killer trope. I just don't buy it with Freddy. I see him as just a dirty weirdo who people try to ignore. So I don't know. It's also weird to do that 6 movies in, but
Well, I would love to. I would love to see like an edit that compiles all of the backstory stuff that we have for him.
yes,
Does this line up with like 3 and
that is
5?
a good question.
Because
I,
the
I
best backstory stuff is in 3, but even that is absurd. Where it's like, oh, we'll get into it more when we get to 3. But it's like, oh, his mom was locked in with 100 different inmates, one of whom happens to be Robert England.
yeah, so I'm pretty sure that guy's the actual father.
Yeah. All right. Do you have anything else you want to say about 6?
No. Not really, just that we should have said a lot of positives for a movie.
I will maintain there is a lot of positives in that first half, maybe half. It in terms of just mindless entertainment, it's not a great Freddy Nightmare movie, and it's just the back half that's really boring because you've killed off all the characters, and it's just these two going after Freddy now.
Yeah, and then of course you have the infamous 3D gimmick
Oh,
that they don't implement until the last third.
I do want to give them kudos. They kept the 3D for this.
That's great.
In fact, it comes with a pair of 3D glasses.
Hell yeah, I appreciate that.
I did not watch it that
Yeah.
way because it's a pain in the ass with glasses. But
I
also,
got you.
okay, I do have another major complaint. I like the Freddy backstory or the idea of it. I never needed to know or wanted to know how he got his powers in the dream world. And if I have to know, I don't want it to be CGI sperm.
I'll take it all.
Uh,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the climax is maybe the worst climax in any of these movies. Like it ends on a
No,
real
but I do
lame
want to give
note.
them credit for though. I like that the way you kill Freddy is to kill him in the real world, so we never do that.
Yeah,
It just needed to
but
be more
it's
creative. And I feel like it's
it's
just
just
set
such a
up to have that really bad shot of his head flying at the screen. And,
yeah.
I'm going to give kudos to this movie for one more thing. It is the only slasher movie that says it's the final one that is the final one in that continuity. Because New Nightmare is a meta reboot thing. Freddy vs. Jason is kind of off doing its own thing.
Yeah, that one's kind of a gray area.
It's the
I
only
think
one.
okay, some would call this insane. But I think you could argue that the correct way to watch these movies is to watch the first five and then Freddy vs. Jason and then Freddy's Dead. Would that work? I don't know. But I should put that to the test
I think
someday.
that would be interesting. I think the only thing is just the massive shift in status quo.
Mhm.
Because either way, him killing all of the teens in Elm Street doesn't line up.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So
Do you have anything else to say about Freddy's Dead?
no, I think that's it. That was our number 8.
It was. All right. My number 7 is. We're just going in reverse order now. A Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream
Oh
Child.
wow.
Um.
My well, you want me to say my number 7 first?
Yeah. Go ahead and say your number 7.
My number 7 is also a Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child.
This one and 2 are like neck and neck for me. There are ideas in both that I like and ideas in both I hate. This one is slightly more incomprehensible. And it
Yeah,
doesn't help that I still don't like Alice.
I like Alice fine. I like the single mom stuff with her. One thing I do appreciate this movie is we finally carry over with a protagonist from the previous movie, and they're just the protagonist again. Uh, that I appreciate. Again, the dream child ideas are really cool. Like you said, and even in just the theatrical version, the kill sequence with the girl and the food, the stuffing
Yes.
sequence. Even the theatrical version, I think, is disturbing and a standout. Um, most of the kills aren't great.
Yeah, that is a movie where it feels like they spent their entire budget on that one kill. Because
Mhm.
it also has the highest survivor count, I think.
Probably.
Because the only other one that I could think of in that movie is the really awkward, hey, you want to suck face, and then he like steals all the oxygen out of her.
Yeah, we'll get to it later, but 4 pisses me off more as a sequel to Dream Warriors, but there's more good stuff 4 has going for it than 5.
Yeah.
5 again has good ideas. Once again, there's things I like about it, but by the third act, it's pretty. It goes off the rails, and I don't know what's happening.
I still don't know what's happening in that climax. There's some really creative
Yeah.
stuff visually, but
Mhm.
I need more than just some cool visuals. I need a kill or something to. Also, I think it's probably my
Yeah.
least favorite Robert Englund performance. He gets a few moments, but it almost seems like it's not interested in him.
Yeah, I don't think he gets a lot of screen time in this one. He's fine, but
And
probably kind of
notoriously, this
sleepwalking
has
through
the
it.
kid that Alan Grant terrorizes in Jurassic Park.
That is true, and he's great. Uh, yeah, we'll get to it more later, but like I wish I could take the good stuff in 4 and 5, put them together, and I think you'd have a great Nightmare on Elm Street
I'm sure
movie.
there's some kind of fan edit out
Uh,
there.
yeah, as is, I just yeah, 5's not great. I didn't even have like a terrible first viewing of it when I was going through these series, and I went back and forth on if I liked this or 4 more, just because like I said, 4 pisses me off more, but it's also got more good stuff. So eh,
I
yeah.
so it for the longest time, 4 and 5 were just together in my head, both in terms of ranking and quality. But when I went through them again, I was like, oh, All the stuff I remember being in 5 that I like is in 4.
It's very easy to confuse the two. Okay, so here's like 4 is like the MTV era summer or spring break Freddy movie, right? You know what 5 should have done to make it more distinct?
Hmm.
This one should have been a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Like Freddy already wears a red and green Christmas sweater. How did we never make a Christmas Freddy movie? That immediately would have given this more of a visual identity.
Well,
Also, there's the dream child thing. You could have played more with that. His mom being a nun.
yeah.
It's right there. Why did we
Uh,
never make a Christmas Freddy movie?
and you know what else is dumb? Okay, everybody talks about the dog peeing fire. This has the most
Yep.
insane Freddy rebirth. His mom just gives birth to him again,
Yeah, it happens.
and then absorbs him at the end and goes through a doorway.
Or not.
I don't know. But the
Yeah.
greatest trick that Nightmare on Elm Street 5 ever pulled was making me think that Renee Harlan was the better director of the two of these movies.
Yeah. Again, there's good visuals here, but also when you get to Freddy's Dead, and while that movie has a lot of problems, I also don't begrudge them for going in their own direction. Because after 5 of these, it's like, yeah, I get it. Like, this one ends on such a weird note that, like, I get why we didn't bring Alice back and make a more direct continuation.
I'm fine
I
with
don't know.
that.
It's a weird,
I think
messy
I think the
series.
problem is 6 jumps too far ahead. Which I mean, I think you could describe all of 6 with just going too far. But yeah, that's all I have to say about 5.
Yeah, and again, I don't hate the movie. It's got good stuff in it. Like I've said about all these, it's just in the bottom half.
Yeah.
I'll never go back, and I personally have this with 4 too. It's like I'll never go back to it on its own. Like I'd only watch it if I'm watching through the whole series.
I think yeah. I think I would go back to 4 over this. But 4
That's fair.
it pisses me off, but I feel like I'd only watch 4 if I'm already watching like maybe 1 or 3. If I'm just gonna say, "Oh, I want to put on a Nightmare movie," it's gonna be 3 or 1.
Yeah.
Speaking of Nightmare movies, though, let's see. That was sorry. I'm looking at a list that has this and Friday, so the numbers don't match up. So that would have been 8.
That was our number 7.
Number 7
Was Nightmare 5.
My number 6, and I'm not going to talk too much about this because we just did a commentary on it. But my number 6 is A Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
Freddy's Revenge, which you can guess is higher on my list, so we'll talk more about it.
Yeah. What is your number
Later.
6?
My number 6 is Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master. 4 and
shocked.
5 for me are still... Yeah, they're still pretty interchangeable. I don't really like either of them. But I ended up putting 4 above 5 just because 4 does have better kill sequences.
It has,
And
I'd argue, one of the best kills in the entire franchise.
It's got some great ones. And then the final battle with Freddy might be the best in the entire series.
Yeah.
All of these movies, even the ones I love, usually stumble in the third act. But this one, for being a movie that really pisses me off in the first act, you get to the third act and that final battle is pretty epic. The way Freddy is defeated looks awesome. The effects are great. It's just, on paper, I think this is such a terrible Dream Warriors follow-up and such a missed opportunity that, again, is just saved by some really strong sequences. The big thing I can't stand about this movie in the first half is this is where it's like, okay, it's movie 4, and we're doing the same formula again of a group of teens who are getting picked off one by one, and the adults don't believe them, and no one believes in Freddy. It's like, oh my god, we're doing this again. And that bothers me, and I've talked about this before on the channel, but it bothers me less in like a Friday the 13th franchise, where sure, a lot of those are the same movie and over again, but you're not sitting through pages and pages of exposition. It's just dicking around for a while, and then Jason shows up and kills people. These movies have a more rigid structure than those do, and when you have the same exposition repeated over and over again, that I find more frustrating. Because here it's like, for some inexplicable reason, we say, hey, let's just kill all the Dream Warriors in the first 20 minutes, so you'll have this whole slew of new teenagers you don't care about who have to go through the same stuff. And then I find that so infuriating. Again, the movie wins me back a little in the back half, and those kill sequences are great. And like you mentioned earlier, the dog peeing fire to resurrect Freddy in the opening is just okay. We don't care anymore. All right, I think this is such a better movie if you keep at least most of the Dream Warriors alive, like for the whole thing.
Well, and it's weird, right?
Or at least
Because
most of it.
I can see killing off Kincaid and is it Johnny?
The mute one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because those are returning actors, so they're probably demanding more money, and these are very cheap movies. I don't know why we killed off Alice, or not Alice, Kristen, because we recast her. But at the same time,
Yeah.
I'm kind of happy we did because second Kristen sucks. I'm sorry, but she does.
It's Tuesday night.
I
Yeah.
I could see where you're coming from. I think the problem is that you have to take in consideration that home media wasn't as big at the time. So a lot of that is for those people that go see them once in the theater and then didn't think about it again. Because Friday the 13th does the same thing. The first like 10 minutes of each of the first 4 movies is a recap of what happened the last 3 movies. And hilariously with Friday, they just reused footage from part 2 all the way to 4, which doesn't make sense because they're dead. But no, I mean that's fair. I don't have an argument
Yeah,
for
I just if you at least space them out more, it's just, again, I hate that we start just killing all the Dream Warriors and then like, okay, that's done. Now here's these new teenagers to go through the same thing. But again, the kills are great. I give it that. I'm surprised this one is as much of a fan favorite as it is for pulling it. Well, just for pulling an Alien 3 and killing off all these returning characters in the opening, I think is a weird choice. But a lot of people love this one.
They have more screen time than the ones at Alien 3 do.
That's true. I don't know. When I was going through the series on my own, when I hit this one, like it really, I had a very bad viewing of it.
I think the thing you have to keep in mind is the average fan base, and I say this as an average, this is the stuff that I go to. It's not, with Alien, it's not about the kills. It is about the characters. Nightmare on Elm Street 3 managed to surprise us by having characters that you could latch onto. But you're here for Freddy and the kills. This movie delivers on that, so I think that is why it is remembered as a fan favorite. And it is, I think, one of the most imaginative sequels, which is shocking, because if you can believe it, Randy Harlan is kind of a hack. So it's amazing this movie turned out the way it did.
Yeah. I don't know. Again, this is, of all the movies in this franchise, for me, the most frustrating, because there's stuff I really hate, and also stuff I think is great. Again, the final battle with Freddy, even though the only dumb part in it is, I think 4 is the one where like he looks at his reflection, and that's what defeats him.
No, it's
like,
hilarious,
okay, that's
because they bring that
stupid.
up in the 2 minutes before the final battle. Also, we have to mention, so I think it's 5 has Super Freddy, which is the dumbest thing.
Yeah.
And watching that with Bag, I was like, yes, I believe this character reads comics. I also read comics. I know what those are. Before 4 has, the cockroach kill, which is amazing. It has probably one of my favorite one-liners. You can check in, but you can't check out. I'd love to know what's happening in the real world right there, but they don't care anymore.
Yeah. Again, so the part with the mirror is really stupid, but aside from that, though, just the visual of all of like the ghosts of Freddy's victims
Hmm.
tearing him apart physically is really awesome. Like that is a great sequence. The movie really ends on a high note, and I'll give it credit for that.
Hmm. And I almost think you could view this as kind of an epilogue for three. If you wanted to just say one, three, and four are the only ones in the main continuity that count, I think you could disregard everything else. And you get
Yeah,
mostly a complete
probably.
story.
Hmm.
What is your so that was number 6. My number 5 is
Yeah.
Nightmare 4. We just talked at length
Okay.
about it.
Yeah. So we're honestly match, and again, I wonder how different your ranking would have been if we did this before your last watch through this series,
I
because
can tell you
I think
6 probably would have been higher.
yeah. So we're matching up a lot closer than I expected going into this, because my number 5 is Nightmare on Elm Street 2: Freddy's Revenge. So it's really not that much higher on my list than it is for you. Uh, like you said earlier, we just did a whole commentary on it. But what holds this movie together for me is Mark Patton as Jesse, who I think is really great, and Robert Englund,
He's
of
got the
course, as
brains.
Freddy, who is really scary and twisted in this one. Again, this movie's got problems. I don't think it's great, but I like it. I think it's interesting. It's got some great sequences. The transformation sequence in the third act is really cool, and I just like the darker tone of this one. It's got some neat visuals. Um, so yeah, like we've already done a whole
Yeah.
commentary on Nightmare 2, but yeah, like again, it's not perfect. Like I have issues with it, but I like it all right. That is my number 5.
Uh, my number 4 is Freddy versus Jason. It
My number
is
4 is also Freddy
it
vs.
is the
Jason.
perfect bridge between the three great ones and the bad sequels.
This movie is an anomaly for me because I don't think it's a great Freddy movie, and I don't think it's a great Jason movie. But for a Freddy versus Jason movie, I don't think you could ask for much more.
No, I
It gives you what you want.
part of this might be nostalgia because I saw this in theaters. I think this is the perfect mashup. It creates a situation for Freddy to recruit Jason, and then explains perfectly why they would need to fight each other. I disagree with it being a bad Jason movie because all you really need from a Jason movie is Jason and a bunch of teenagers, and this delivers. Jason kills like a gazillion people in this movie. It's peak. Uh, and you get the cornfield sequence, which is amazing. Minus some of the bad
That's great.
CGI.
Yeah, there's a lot. Okay, the visuals of this movie, it's like the cinematography is like too good for the series. But it looks great. It's a very colorful movie. It's very stylized, of course, from the director of Bride of Chucky, and you can tell. So the visuals are great, but then, God, some of that CGI is real bad.
I
That's the main thing holding it back.
I think the only thing that holds this movie back for me, and I know most people have moved on, and honestly, when I'm watching the movie, I don't care. I think this movie would have been perfect if they just kept Kane Hodder.
This should have been Kane Hodder's send off, the way it's Robert Englund's send off. Would have been the perfect last movie for the both of them. It absolutely should have been Kane Hodder. I think King Kersinger's fine. And like, if I'm ranking Jason's, like he's probably in the middle somewhere. Like he's serviceable,
Yeah,
but Kane Hodder's better.
I
It
think
should
you
have been
need
him.
that rage that Kane Hodder brings to it that Ken doesn't. Ken's Jason is kind of dopey.
He feels more like some of the early Jason actors, where it's just a stuntman in a hockey mask when they haven't really figured out his personality yet.
Yeah.
Um,
And I get wanting someone taller than Freddy. I don't think that matters. Kyle's in
I
the
don't
chat
either.
says Kyle Kane is the Jason. I agree.
Yeah, doesn't necessarily have the best run, but
I'd
he's the
argue he
best
only has
Jason.
one movie you can argue, maybe two that you can argue is bad. I like 8 more than most people, but Jason Goes to Hell is the only bad movie he's in.
Then I like it more than you. And you know what? Jason X is fun.
Jason
Um,
X is a
I
cinematic masterpiece. Okay.
I always go back and forth on it on my Jason rankings. Do you put that above or below Freddy versus Jason? Because I
Above,
think they have different
above, just
strengths.
because I'm more of a Jason guy. The crossover fun stuff is fun, but A, Jason X has the best Jason, and B, I don't know. I just maybe it's because I saw that first, but I like Jason X is more important to
I
me.
I don't think any of the kills in this are as good as the liquid nitrogen kill in Jason X.
No, although although the one where he stabs the living glow stick and then flings him through the cornfield is amazing. Uh,
Well,
and
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 also
then hang on, real quick. And then when he kills Gibbs, that has my favorite Freddy line in the movie. She's mine. She's
why
mine.
and that's what's funny too. It's like you only get one Freddy kill in this movie. You only get one real Freddy kill. Uh, but it's a good one. Yeah, it's I don't go back to this movie a lot, probably not as much as you do. Like I think it's fine. It deliver once you get the Freddy versus Jason stuff, it's really entertaining. Like the
I
fights
watched
are
this movie
cool.
a lot on DVD, and then I just didn't have access to it until I got that Friday box set. I meant to have it watched before this, but I didn't get around to it. Um,
Yeah, it's a fun movie. Should have been Kane Hodder, and some of that CGI is real bad. But I think those are the only like strong negatives
although
I have for it.
it's funny too. Okay, I'm gonna throw you a bone on Nightmare 2. This does the Nightmare 2 thing where he possesses a kid with the Freddy pillar. At its peak. Not what is it? Not Silent Bob or Jay from Silent Bob and Jay.
Yes. Oh god, this is such an early 2000s movie.
Yes. Also, I don't know if you recognized him, but the cop in Peacemaker is in this.
Yeah. Yeah, that guy. One of the that guy actor.
Yeah.
I've seen him in a bunch of
Also,
stuff.
I'm gonna go to bat because everybody complains about the water sequence. I think that makes perfect sense when you realize that Jason's in the dream world, because because then later in the movie, in the real world, he's in water and he's fine. I think the movie is telling you that that is only happening because he's in the dream.
Freddy died by fire, Jason by
Well, I
water.
mean
How do
that.
we use that?
Yeah, that's one of the greatest lines of all time. And then what's funny?
Okay, I think the final girl in this movie's fine, but not one of
I
the
think she's
strongest dividing the
better. I think
franchise.
she's better in the third act. She
That's
kind
right.
of gets lost in the shuffle in the first two acts. Because you've got I Gibbs, which I think is better, and most of that is just the actress. Also,
Yeah.
this movie has the most like cartoonishly evil, dickish boyfriend of all time. Don't touch me after you smoked. What? Um, and the woman from was it Destiny's Child? Uh, is that the band?
I don't know.
Her other friend, she's like a musician from that time. Um, who is like the most obnoxious person on the planet.
I find it pretty annoying.
Well, you really
I
agreed
get
with Freddie when he looked at her and said the thing. Have you ever watched that Big
Uh,
Friday documentary?
I still haven't,
It's so
and
funny
there are a
because they
couple,
talk
so I don't know
specifically
which one to
about that
watch.
scene. I would watch Crystal Lake Memories. It's more definitive because it's like 6 hours, but it goes through every one of them, including Freddy versus Jason. And it came out late enough that they talk a little bit about the remake. Um, but like nobody will take responsibility for that line. Apparently, nobody knows how it got in there. It's amazing. Uh,
Wonderful.
but
Yeah.
yeah, I'm glad that
Also,
exists. I'm sad that
I'm glad it exists too.
I'm
Yeah.
sad that Alien vs Predator then killed the entire thing like a year later. Also, real
Yeah.
quick on the final girl, it's funny because she's in that documentary too. I don't know if you know this, but in the comic for Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash, they kill her and Will immediately.
Yep.
That actress was pissed.
And I think she looks completely different because they didn't want to
Yeah.
pay for her likeness.
Yes. Well, that's a problem even with
Yeah, and
Ash. Like, that doesn't look like Bruce Campbell.
last positive thing I'll say about Freddy vs. Jason is the story is pretty good. And I know you're not watching this movie for story,
No, I think it has a decent story
but
as an excuse to get them together.
given all the weird previous drafts of this movie
They went
and
with
like
the
what this movie
simplest
could have been,
execution.
which is good.
Oh.
Like, I think we got the best outcome.
Last thing I will say, this is the second best Mrs. Voorhees.
Sure.
I think she's great.
Yeah. All right.
I love when Jason first is in the dream world and she's berating him. I should have known that you were a mad dog that wouldn't know when to stop eating.
And I think the coolest visual in this movie is I think we're in Jason's head, but he's in like that purgatory,
Dragging
and
people
he's
to
just
the
dragging the
closet.
bodies and throwing them into this void. It's awesome. Kyle in the live chat says he needs a Predator versus 2009 Jason. I agree. That'd be awesome.
I'd rather see the zombie one.
Yeah, but I get why he's saying that because I like survivalist Jason.
Yeah.
You know, he can use bow and arrow, like a bow and arrow and shit.
Yeah, but the Predator shoots
Be a cool fight.
zombie Jason. He ain't going down.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, do you know about one of the other endings to Freddy vs. Jason? Because there was a few.
I know about the one that was gonna end with like the hand of Satan or something coming up and grabbing them
So,
and being like the end of the world.
The one that I wish they could have done is it's them in hell, and they're about to go for round 3, and Pinhead shows up
Oh,
and separates them with the chains. He goes, "What seems to be the problem, gentlemen?" That would have been
I wish
big.
probably would have been better than some other Hellraiser movies.
Most of them.
And I have seen the deleted ending that was gonna end with Lori and her boyfriend at the end,
Yes.
where like he turns into Freddy and kills her. But they cut that.
So I think I've said this before, but I had the novelization for Freddy vs. Jason, and I was so confused because it uses that ending. It's like, wait, that's not how that movie ends.
That's amazing.
Go ahead and talk about your next one. I'll be right back.
Okay. My number 3, assuming this will be John's number 3, but we'll see, is Wes Craven's New Nightmare from 1994. Very much the precursor to Scream. Very meta, and talking about the state of horror and specifically the state of the Freddy character. The first time I watched this movie, I had a great viewing of it, and it was almost my favorite of the franchise. I was like, am I gonna be the guy whose favorite nightmare movie is Wes Craven's New Nightmare? But yeah, like everyone says, it's got some third act issues, some real bad effects, and it kind of falls.
You never go full Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
No, well, that also hurts it because it's like a lot of the ideas in this movie are just done better in Scream. Shortly after, but yeah, that is my number 3. Is that also your number 3?
No, my number 3 is the original.
Oh my
Nightmare on Elm
God.
Street. However,
Hot take.
with the caveat, they're like this. I like the thing that this movie does that I like more than the first one, and I like more than Scream. However, I like Scream as a movie better. Is I love the idea that this franchise was like a gate that was keeping this demon at bay, and we watered it down with bad sequels and tie-ins, and he's a pop culture icon, and that's what lets this monster out. I think that's such a brilliant idea. And I love the Freddy design in this. I love the callback to Tina's death.
Yes, that sequence is great.
And when we get there, because I may forget to point this out, but the babysitter, I know her from the pilot of Angel.
Oh my god.
And I love how much of the just cast of all of them that he gets back. However,
It's really cool.
you're right that it has some third act issues, and I think there's some missed opportunities. Freddy should have killed Robert Englund, right?
Yeah, it's a missed opportunity that they don't have like any face off. And I don't think this movie did very well when it came out initially. I think a lot of people thought it was just weird and didn't get it. It's not what they wanted. But now I think, like, for me, binging this series only adds to it because it's like, oh my god, it's all these people I
Well,
recognize
and
for
I
the first
think
6 films.
I don't know how you. I mean, obviously, I was like 2 when this movie came out. I think because so this made 19 million on an 8 million budget, so it broke even and then a little plus. The problem is how do you market this?
Right.
I think, and uh, I'm thinking of it from a casual viewer's audience, especially in the 90s. Is that enough to let you know this is a Freddy movie? Because I remember even as a kid looking at it, I was like, Wes Craven's New Nightmare. What does that mean? That's weird. But no, I love this movie. The third act I just come to accept with these movies. I think it's a better third
Yeah.
act than at least the first one, which is why I think I put it slightly above the first one.
I'm still invested in the characters and the story. Bad visual effects aside, and
And this
I,
has
I
some
think
really creepy visuals.
yeah, like there's great stuff in it. Freddy's scary again, and Heather Langenkamp, I think, gives her best performance. I think she grows as an actress throughout this franchise, and I think she's really good here.
Yeah, so I said earlier that 4 is kind of an epilogue. I'm gonna amend that statement. I think the way to watch these for me personally is 1, 3, 4, and then 7 is the epilogue.
That's fair.
But I wouldn't recommend that for a first time viewer because I think you need 2, 5, and 6, regardless of your feelings of 2. That is not a well liked movie. To appreciate what a 7 is saying.
Mhm. Well, and two's developed a strong cult
Yeah,
following, but
but I mean I think all
with
of them have a
six
good thing.
especially, yeah. And with 6, it's funny, we should have mentioned earlier how I think the 90s gets kind of a bad rap for horror specifically because I think there's a lot of great horror movies and great underappreciated horror movies in the 90s. But when you look at movies like Freddy's Dead, I get why the 90s has the reputation it has and why a movie like New Nightmare exists and what it's commenting on with the state of the genre was, particularly for slashers at that point, and then, what a big deal Scream was, because the slasher genre probably suffered the most in the
Slashers,
90s of like
yes.
any
Because you had,
subgenre.
Jason
Yeah,
goes to
pre-Scream.
or Jason Goes to Hell, Freddy's Dead. Regardless if you like them, they, at the time, that's not what people wanted. And I
And then
think
Halloween 6.
Halloween 6 and even H2O, I mean, people liked that movie, but it's. And then, you have New Nightmare, which was a modest hit, I think. Then Scream, which blew up. But the problem was then after Scream, everything was wanting to be Scream,
Yes, which is what I think
which is
Halloween H2O falls
exhausting.
into. Yeah.
Robert, I don't know if you know this, but when everything is meta, then nothing is meta.
Uh, and then Halloween H2O gets weird because there's the scene where I think they're watching Scream on TV, and then it's like, but Scream references the Halloween franchise. Like, it breaks your brain thinking about the canon of it because I didn't care.
Yeah. Kyle says H2O is peak.
Uh,
I have to disagree, my friend. I watched that movie a couple
yeah,
weeks ago. That movie sucks.
no. I think the climax is fun.
I did
It's got a
too
couple
until I
good bits.
rewatched it with Austin and Hayden. That was hard to get through.
Yeah.
Although, the way Resurrection, which I will say it now, Resurrection is a better movie. Um, the way Resurrection retcons that ending is maybe the greatest thing of all time. So, for anybody that
Yeah.
doesn't know, the end of H2O was her killing Michael with an axe. However, the producers said, well, it needs to be a way that we can retcon it because we want to make another movie. So, in 7, no. Would that be 8? Resurrection is 8?
Resurrection's 8.
Yes, because H2O is 7. They reveal that he swapped places with an ambulance driver. I don't know when this happened. I don't know how this happened. And she killed the ambulance driver, which puts her in an institution. And then Michael kills her because Jamie Lee Curtis didn't give a fuck. Oh,
Resurrection used to really piss me off, but I'm glad 2018 exists, and I can just kind of appreciate the hilarity of Resurrection now.
Kyle, that
It's just
asks, is H2O where Busta Rhymes gets into a kung fu fight with Michael? That's Resurrection.
that's Resurrection.
Yeah, because he has the greatest one-liner of all time. Trick or treat, motherfucker. I might put that on our poll for Halloween night.
Yeah, I'm down.
Um, what was that, number 4 on our ranking?
That was number 3,
Number 3.
where I had Wes Craven's New Nightmare, and you had the original.
I don't have to. I don't have to guess, but I'm gonna guess that your next one is the original.
That is incorrect.
Really?
Yeah. So my number 2 is The Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors.
That might
That's
be
great.
blasphemy.
No, it's not. These are both beloved movies. They're doing different things. Dream Warriors is more of a fun popcorn kind of movie. It's more about the visuals and the action. It's not as scary as the first one, though it does have a couple of disturbing sequences. It hits the right balance of Freddy getting more funny, but still being creepy. I like Heather Langenkamp. I like how she's used in it. Again, it's got some third act issues, like all these movies have. But it's a fun time. I like this movie a lot. It's very cheesy, very 80s, but that's just part of the charm of it. Again, I don't think it's as creepy as the original, but I still think it's a really fun movie.
I will just say that is my number 1. I think that is. I
Uh,
think
uh,
that movie is slasher movie perfection. All of the kills are good, memorable. It has the most memorable Freddy scene of all time. Welcome to prime time, bitch.
yeah, the most disturbing one is when the guy's veins come out and he's like using him like a puppet.
That one, but also I think the drug one is really disturbing when you think about it.
Yeah.
Uh, but
No, the
I
way
just
Freddy
love,
fucks with the teenagers in this.
I love the visual of him, like his fingers turning into like needles, and he's like, "Let's get high." No, because I
Well,
like
and
a
this,
slasher that enjoys what he's doing.
yeah, everybody needs a hobby, and this one has probably the best setup of any of these sequels. Where, in it's not just a carbon copy of the first one. It's, well, now we're following troubled teens all in this mental institution. So right off the bat, you have a very creative environment to put them in, and it's really cool. All these characters are well developed. Again, the setting is great. It's just probably the best sequel you
Well,
could ask for to
and
the original.
what I like is, so, because we argued about this on the commentary, but one of the implications is that they're the last of the Elm Street children, the children of the
Yes.
parents that burned Freddy alive. But I also love the implication, at least this is my read. He's the reason they're all in there.
Mhm.
So it all comes full circle, but with also keeping inconsistent with what his motivation and goals was in the first one, which was revenge on the kids the parents killed him, while also not just being a repeat of the first one, which a lot of slashers fall into. And immediately you know that you're in for a higher budgeted movie because the first time you see Freddy, he's a giant fucking caterpillar worm thing that tries
And
to
that
eat
is
Patricia Arquette.
awesome.
Well,
Yeah,
and what I
that
love about
that
that,
puppet is amazing.
what I love about that too is, it's very quick, but Kirsten pulls Nancy into her dream, and she goes, "Oh my god," because she recognizes Freddy, and he goes, "You."
Yeah.
Um,
You're the one that got away, I guess. Uh, the
see,
way this goes about addressing the end of the first movie is by
and
not
not
addressing
addressing
it.
it, which honestly is probably for the best. But I think that
Yeah.
solidifies my headcanon that when they're writing that, for them, the ending of that movie is her turning away from him and taking all of his power.
Mhm. Yeah, and her mom is canonically dead, but they don't get into the weeds of that.
Yes. John Saxon is
And
amazing in this movie.
he's great. It leads to my biggest flaw of the movie, which is during the third act when John Saxon teleports in there in a very bad visual effect, and for some reason Nancy falls for it just to get stabbed by Freddy. And that part is annoying because it really throws Nancy under the bus. And in a
Does it
scene
though?
where it does, because like she should know better.
But
Like
we're in a
to
movie where with a character that can pull people into dreams.
okay, but they think they've just defeated Freddy. I don't know. I think that scene plays better if they just think they're back in the real world. Just have him walk in like a normal person, not teleport in there in a weird effect. And he's acting all weird. I don't know. That bit I don't like. I'm fine with Nancy dying. It's just that part kind of throws her under the bus, and I don't like that bit. But the rest of the movie's great. The effects are cool.
One of the only
It's just
slashers that takes out his big rival.
yeah.
And she stays dead. Michael doesn't count because he's killed Laurie like 6 times. Uh,
But you got a great team working on this movie. You got Wes Craven back on the story.
sort of.
You got sort of. You got Frank Darabont on the story. You got Chuck Russell directing, who would go on to do the Blob remake and The Mask in the '90s. So you just have like the perfect team working on this movie, and it's a lot of fun. It's really cool.
Yeah. Um,
Also, the one thing to tie this back to four. Sorry, go on.
real quick, because
Oh, okay. So
I think you're breaking up a little bit.
go for it. Oh,
real,
okay.
real quick, because we talked about John Saxon, I want to tie that back in. I forgot to mention this with New Nightmare. One of my favorite scenes in New Nightmare is when he's reverting back to his movie character and he thinks he's Nancy's dad. It's really creepy and unsettling.
Yes.
But anyway, what was your
Yeah.
connection with 4, 3, and 4?
So you get to the end of 3, and it's a great final shot because it's so ambiguous. It's you have the model of the Elm Street house, which I actually have right behind me.
Oh my
This
god!
house, the popsicle stick house, and the light turns on, right? And it's kind of a creepy note because you're like, oh, is Freddy still alive? Is that what that's alluding to? Apparently, the original idea was that was actually supposed to represent Nancy, and we'd see her as a ghost in the fourth one. So they would have brought her back. I kind of wish we did that. I think that could have been fun.
I think there's a comic that kind of deals with some of that.
Yeah, because like I said, 4 really just gets away from Nancy and the Dream Warriors, like in the first act, in a way that just doesn't land for me. But I don't know. That could have been an interesting alternate reality. Because you know, for a supernatural series, like you hardly ever see that. You hardly ever see a protagonist killed off, but then come back as like a ghost or whatever, unless you're Star Wars. But that could have been cool.
Yeah. Oh, I just want to say, especially after my last rewatch, I love Kincaid. He's probably my favorite.
He's great.
I love when he freaks the fuck
I
out when they're gonna put him in solitaire. But this movie also introduces everyone's favorite topic, Freddy's backstory. The bastard
yes.
son of 100 maniacs, because that's not absurd.
I kind of love it.
I kind of love it. I also, as much as I praise some of that in 6, mostly just I really liked Alice Cooper's cameo. I kind of wish we just left it there. Because I don't. The thing with 6,
Which one?
I'm sorry, not to go backwards, but 6 almost tries to paint him sympathetic, where he's bullied by the kids at school. His stepdad is abusive, and I'm like, yeah, but he killed kids.
You don't need that for. Which is it 5 when they have to find his mom's skeleton, or is that 4?
5.
I think it's 5. Okay.
Because 4 doesn't have anything to do with his mom.
Like. Okay. Yeah, and his mom's a creepy ghost to this. That's fun.
No, and that plays like a legitimate reveal that, oh, this nun is a ghost and it's Amanda Kruger. And is this the first one that we get? Is it this one or 2? That's the first time Robert Englund's out of makeup.
In 2 he is, because he's the bus driver in the opening.
Okay.
Before you see him as where do we see him out of makeup in this?
He's one of the maniacs.
Isn't that in 5?
Is that in 5?
I think you're thinking of a scene in 5 where they actually flashback. I think they just talk about it in this one.
You might be right.
And is 4 the one where we see Robert Englund in drag?
Yes, he's the nurse.
As the
because
nurse? Okay.
It is hysterical. He is 1-to-1 with the actual school nurse.
That's amazing. But okay, that's the thing. Like, you just watched through all these movies again. It's hard to keep certain scenes straight and like, wait.
But to be fair, I've also watched a fuck ton of other movies.
That is true.
Yeah, and it's funny too because Austin was telling me about this video that Nightmare 2010 is kind of getting reevaluated. Can we just stop? Can we stop?
Yeah, stop. Don't do it. You don't have to be different. You don't have to be cool.
Somebody was defending what is something in the movie that's a deleted scene that was apparently him flashing in and out of the Freddy makeup or CGI.
Yeah.
It's like, but that's just to get Jackie Earl Haley FaceTime. He hasn't earned that. Robert Englund at least waited till the sequel.
Yeah. I of course, I don't know if that's like the reason behind the scenes, or how that
movie
would have
just
played
feels
in context.
so cynical that.
But there's other deleted stuff too, where there was a bit where he kind of a callback to 2, where he like bursts out of Kyle Gallner's character, and I don't know if that was just supposed to be like a dream sequence or like a death scene, but like that looked kind of cool, and they cut it out. Also, there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that's cut out of that movie.
Not to jump all the way back to our first pick. But I feel remiss without mentioning that also just straight up steals the ending of Freddy versus Jason. Do you remember that?
Which part?
So the way she kills Freddy in that is she grabs a blade from one of those cutters, says "Welcome to my world, bitch," and then slits his throat with it.
Okay.
It is the ending of Freddy versus Jason. What?
Yeah. I don't know. Again, like there's some stuff I like in that movie, but I don't think it's good.
Well, your favorite
line
is when he growls, "I was just petting him."
I thought you were gonna say a different line.
You really love the undertones in that movie.
Nope.
We're gonna play for a long time.
That.
Don't say that.
I think the one that's actually funny is when she says "fuck you," and his response is, "Oh, it sounds fun." It's like, okay, I buy Freddy saying that. It's gross. It's creepy. And a lot of the defense you see of the remake is like, well, it's like serious. It's scary again. I'm like,
but it's not.
Okay,
He's
but it's
also
not done
cracking
well.
Jokes.
Yeah, but also and then again, you have those scenes like when he's coming out of the wall in a horrible CGI effect
What
that
a
looked better
horrible
in the original.
nightmare.
And that I hate it when people are like, "Oh, well, this one's trying to be scary again. That makes it good." It's like, no, it still needs to be well executed, though. I don't find the movie scary. I don't think it's
No,
effective
I would rather
in what it's
watch
trying to
6,
do.
which is incompetent in almost every way, but at least it's sincere about it.
I think it's more entertaining.
Yes. But anyway,
Yeah. So
you're number
anyway,
one.
back to the yeah. So my number 2 was Nightmare on Elm Street 3: Dream Warriors, and my number 1 is still the
Clearly, Friday
original
the
Nightmare on Elm
13th.
Street. That too.
That'd be amazing. We just do this whole ranking of nightmare movies, and then your number one is a Friday movie.
It wouldn't be inaccurate. Uh, but yeah, as far as just the Freddy goes, movies go. I love the original. I love the tone. I love the vibe. Unfortunately, it kind of peaks early with the Tina kill because that sequence is incredible, and I think still one of the
See,
best in the series. So the Johnny Depp kill
I
is
think
really
the Johnny
fun.
Depp one is the best scene. The Tina one is great, but
The Tina one I think is just more disturbing, and yeah, just all the little
also
visuals, the
fuck you
mystery.
rating boards. The fact that that got through and none of the Friday kills did is bullshit.
It's insane. Yeah, and I mentioned at the top of this that, I'm more of a Jason guy than a Freddy guy. I'm going to say something here controversial, and I'll stand by it. I think every Nightmare on Elm Street movie, even the ones I love, are kind of flawed. I There are a couple of Jason movies that I think are arguably perfect. And that's part 4 and part 6 for Jason movies for that franchise.
So I will say something controversial because I don't care. So I told you I was doing a ranking of both. So if
Mhm.
I looked at right now, I have from best to worst: Friday 3 or Nightmare 3, Jason 6, then New Nightmare, then the final Friday 4, then Nightmare 1. There are a few Friday movies that I would put above even the best Nightmare movies, but it's all about what you want, right? I recognize that probably 1, 3, and 7 of this are objectively better. The Friday movies give me what I want and they execute it perfectly.
Yes.
But yes, I
But
love the first movie. It's so simple. That that's why it's kind of on par with Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Both of them have ideas that I love that execute them near flawlessly until you get to the end. 3, I don't have as much problems with the ending as you do, and I think it has the best visuals and Freddy in the series. Like I said, I love a killer that loves what he's doing. That's what I love about Chucky. 'Cause that little bastard loves what he does. But this has some really cool kills. It also has the lamest kill where he just hangs Rod. Kyle says that Halloween is better than Friday the 13th, and that is just incorrect, sir.
yeah, if you're talking about the franchises as a whole, I can't agree with that
No.
at all.
Halloween has like 3 good movies, maybe 4.
Now,
And 3 of them are called Halloween.
if you're just talking about the first one, I think even John will agree
Yes.
the first Halloween is better than the first Friday the 13th.
Although, maybe this is a hot take. I think I like Nightmare on Elm Street more than the first Halloween, too.
Yeah, I don't think that's a hot take. They're both very popular. And yeah, to what you're saying about this first film, it does have third act issues. I think it has a great third act. It's just that ending, it just doesn't stick the landing. And I'm at least used to it now. It didn't work for me the first time I watched this film. Now I just know it's coming. And, again, it's not good, but her mom turning into a blow up doll and getting pulled through the
It's
door
hysterical.
is funny.
I will take that
Like,
over the
it's memorable.
remake's weird CGI head with the claws coming up. Feels like
Yep.
a 3D shot. So Kyle says Halloween, Halloween 2, Halloween 2 sucks. Halloween 3 is good. 2018 is good, and Kills is in that so bad it's good. But for me,
Yeah.
it's Halloween, the first zombie movie, Halloween, the 2018 movie, and 3. All the other ones,
Yeah.
get them out of here.
Yeah, you like Halloween Kills more than I do, but I think even you'd put most of the Fridays
Yes.
above that. Ugh.
Ugh.
Yeah, I don't know.
And even with that ranking, are you gonna sit there and tell me you don't like more Friday movies than that? Come on. Come
Yeah,
on.
as even though there are only 3 films in this franchise that I really love, I'll still say this is a better franchise than the Halloween
Yeah, because even
franchise.
with the bad ones, I can at least watch Robert Englund. I go watch a
He's
bad
always great.
Halloween movie. What do I got? A guy in a mask that stands there. And a shitty looking mask, mind you.
They fuck that mask up.
It is the
But
most
yeah,
simple design in the world. What the fuck?
I the Freddy makeup in 5 isn't great, and then in Freddy's Dead,
It's
pretty bad,
yes.
and then in the remake, pretty bad. He looks good in all the others. Like, we fuck up the Michael Myers mask more than we fuck up Freddy's makeup. I don't know how that happened,
I don't either.
but
And I don't
it's the
even
world
hate
we
his
live in.
makeup in 5. I think it looks alright.
Yeah, I don't think it's like horrible. It's just a step down.
Yeah. You
But
know what doesn't
but yeah,
fuck up the mask though? Friday the 13th. It's always done correctly.
that's true. Jason usually looks fine. And yeah, that's Nightmare on Elm Street. At some point, we got to do a Friday ranking.
Yeah.
Uh, did you do a Nightmare ranking with Noah, or
No,
is
we
this
did
your
Friday.
first? Okay, and Saw.
And Saw.
Uh, and Saw, we plan to do a
We,
ranking next Thursday,
yes,
I think.
because that one doesn't cover the one that Noah and I did does not cover 10
Right.
because we didn't have access to that. So that'll be fascinating. Well, Robert, is there anything else you'd like to say about any of the Nightmare movies? Jason Goes to Hell begs to differ. Begs to differ about
Uh,
what?
I think he's
Because
talking about the mask, but
I don't
I
like
like
that
the
movie. I like
Jason
that
design.
Jason design. That's
It
probably my
was
second
horrible.
or third favorite.
It was horrible to film in for Kane Otter.
Yeah.
So my heart bleeds for him for that. But yeah, I think he'll look
No,
cool.
and I was talking about
But
this
yeah,
with Bag. What's cool, we'll talk more about it, is Friday 5 kind of gives away that it's not Jason because it's the only one that has a different mask.
right.
Because it has the blue stripes.
Mhm.
And then I don't know what the hell the mask is on that cover.
Yeah,
Okay,
that is the Lord Humongous mask from the Road Warrior for some
yeah.
reason.
Kyle, are you talking about the mask or the movie quality? Because I will agree with you that Jason Goes to Hell sucks. But that's one movie out of an 11 movie franchise versus Halloween that is.
And I'll say that Jason Goes to Hell is better than a lot of Halloween movies. That is
It
my
does have some
opinion.
cool stuff in it.
The bad Halloween movies are just boring
Boring. That's what
and dull.
Scream is parodying, is those bad Halloween sequels.
Mhm. But yeah, that was
Well, and
Nightmare
then
on Elm
6
Street.
is gross.
Yeah.
With Jamie.
Yes. No, I just wasn't sure what you're talking about, so I was just like, okay. But yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street, for a franchise that I'm not like the biggest fan of, I think is kind of a mixed bag. And for only having 3 movies I really love, I still think they're mostly watchable.
Well, and
Um,
something for anyone who's watching that thinks there's more than it's taken into consideration. That is impressive for a slasher franchise. It took Halloween 20 years to get 3 watchable movies. Texas Chainsaw is barely there. Hellraiser might be there. I mean, I don't like 2, but that's a good batting average for one of these 80s horror franchises. Friday just got lucky. They made the same movie like 12 times.
yeah, that takes talent.
It does. All right. All right. So, on our early end, because I don't think we had anything planned after this, we're just going to do this. And I still got to go eat dinner because I didn't eat before this.
Oh.
Did you want to do something else? I don't remember if we had anything planned.
Well, I suggested we could play some Dead by Daylight for a
You're
little
right.
bit, but if you
So
don't want
let
to do that today,
no,
that's fine.
no, we can do that. I'll eat after, because I'm not even that hungry, and I want to play. I want to use that DLC I bought. I gotta justify the money.
Okay.
So we're gonna take about 5 minutes because I assume you want to break. We're gonna play some Dead by Daylight. We're gonna suck at it, but we're gonna play. And then tomorrow, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern instead of 8, Saw 2. I almost said Saw and Saw X, and Saw X.
Yes, but in the reverse order.
Oh, are we doing X
Because
first?
we want to do them. Yeah, because we want to do them chronologically.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay,
I mean, I'm fine with either, but I think that'll be fun.
Yeah, no, that sounds fun. So join us tomorrow, and we hope to see you when we come back.